So today, well, first of all, I want to welcome all the guests. Thank you so much for joining us today on this podcast. I have a special guest here today. Welcome to the Dadalocks Podcast, where I'm your host, Kirigo Kabuga. I'm on a mission to get 10,000 women out of poverty in Africa through the Dadalocks system, which is a natural hair care locking system that will allow women to move from poverty and into entrepreneurship. So far, we have at least 40 women who are successfully doing this, and it has impacted their lives. And here we continue. So we want to continue having these discussions with stylists and clients and all the things, because there is so much that happens in this exchange of the natural hair industry, and it is a booming business. And of course, today I have this incredible guest, Mr. Tande, but let me just introduce him properly. So please welcome Thando Kafele, affectionately known as the King of Lock. Yes, indeed, from New York. Thanks to Thando follows a very rich tradition of Western spiritual practices with honor that honor the head and the crown as the source of the divine. His journey in the natural hair journey spans decades, marked by a deep commitment to excellence, spiritual connection through our natural hair. Welcome, Kafele. Oh my
Thank you for
God.
having me.
That was you. That was you I was introducing right now. Okay. Okay. So to start us off, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I would love to hear about this hair style and lock style that you're wearing. Go for it.
Good morning. My name is Thando Kafele. I am the King of Lock. The King of Lock is a tribute and an honor to Michael Jackson,
Oh, I never
when
knew that.
a lot of people don't.
Wow.
The King of Lock, when Michael became the King of Pop, that was a standard of excellence and elevation that I wanted to mirror. But the
Mhm.
King of Locks came from my competition days at the World Natural Hair Show. And after a series of wins, Miss Marion Council George stood up and said, "You're the King of Locks."
Oh, so you were named it and you claimed it.
And the King of Locks is not self-proclaimed. It was actually given to me.
You were baptized.
Okay. But
Okay.
yes, I am I'm a natural hair militant. I am a self-esteem specialist. I am a keeper of the culture.
Mm,
I am part of a legacy of taking care of people.
wow. That is amazing. Tell us more. Break down, what does it mean to be a keeper of the culture? I love that. I consider myself one, but I just want to know what your interpretation is of that title.
That the revolution will not be texturized. That um, I don't do anything around natural hair unless the conversation of health and culture is included.
Mm, amazing. Amazing.
I am an African, not because I was born on the motherland, but Africa is in me.
Honey,
Africa is in my name. It is in my hair. It is in my practice. Um, I only wear cultural clothes. I speak natural hair from cultural perspectives.
amazing. Amazing. Please tell us a little bit about that hairstyle you're wearing right now. I'm loving the color. How did you get it to stick up? That is very much African influence hairstyles as our ancestors used to wear them. and that you're boldly wearing it out here. Tell us more about that.
So I've had locks for over 20 years, and this is I believe, my third set of locks. My intention was to freeform, but now I've decided the young generation calls it wicks, but I call it freeform with assistance. So in my head, I'm freeforming with crochet lock maintenance. My locks were started by a sister in Atlanta that goes by the Starter Lock Queen.
Nice.
I got this redone yesterday
Oh,
by a young brother
okay.
named Franklin.
In New York.
He's from Nevada.
Oh, what?
Not only is he from Nevada, he's Caucasian,
Stop it.
which was a interesting happening for me
I'm
because
sure. Mr.
he's
Keeper Culture.
this is what he does,
Okay.
and he was looking for a model,
Okay.
and I was like, I'm okay. And people told him after who I was, and he asked me again,
He
and I said,
insisted.
somebody has already offered to do my hair, but he
Okay.
was in need of a model for his class. And
Okay.
then I found out that we were astrological twins. We have the same birthday. And
Wow.
someone told me that he should meet me 6 months ago. But what drew me into him,
Yes. Do
not only
tell.
did we have the same birthday, I have this phrase that I speak: you can't license spirit.
Oh, you always say that. Yes.
And this little brother's spirit just took to me. And so he's teaching his class,
Mhm.
and I'm his model. And in his speaking, he references culture. I can't even get my people to do it. So he did my hair, and I
Okay.
had to consult one of my peers.
Yes.
And I was like, am I on probation with the ancestors?
Right. Well, why would you ask that? Was it because he, a non-brother, but a brother, did your hair and you're a keeper of culture and you felt like, were you violating any of those
Yes.
systems?
And
Wow.
and she said, I'm okay with him doing it as long as you stay in his communication.
Mm, right,
And
right.
so I think God is a comedian.
Right.
And I think this is very interesting moving forward,
Yeah.
who I get to coach and who I get to mentor. Um, but this little brother got something special with him.
Wow. I am so impressed that because like not only are you a keeper of culture, you're a protector, right? You defend the natural hair industry, the locking systems. You have always stood, you've always been a man on the stage, you know, a leader. And therefore, for you to be, I don't know, sort of almost ushered into a new direction or that is new for you, right? I am so impressed because you've done it with humility, you're humbled, and we would not be looking at what we're looking at right now. If
And the thing about mentoring is
yeah.
that this generation feels that you should give it for free.
Ah,
Not so sometimes when you mentor, there is a cost involved,
yes,
but mentoring is just information not shared has no value.
right, correct.
But I have to trust you with the information. And
Absolutely.
so, uh, yeah, that was a very different shift for me. And I
Yes.
feel like it's a part of my evolution and my growth.
Right.
And because I only feel that Black people can have locks.
Right.
I feel that Black hair is the
All
only hair.
right.
I feel that Black hair is the only hair that can coil, and that all other people manipulate and force their hair to lock. Because when it comes to Black people, what do we own? And if we don't own the culture of our hair, then what do we have left?
Mm, wow. I'm going to ask you one last question on this hair. And what a great question. What do we have left? How on in God's name are you sleeping with your hair like that? Like, what is the sleeping arrangement?
It's a little challenging,
In order for it to stay out like that.
but
Wow.
my hair excites me. My
Mm,
hair is giving all of this energy and all of this color, and I wanted to have my locks again. I got tired of the
cornrows.
braiders and dealing with going into a braid establishment as a Black man and how I was treated. I got
Hmm.
tired of the barbershops. Um, I just needed my locks back.
Welcome
And I
back.
got tired of the millennials saying, "How are you the king of lock with no locks?"
Right.
And I would just say, "Because I'm locked in."
I love it. Spiritually, you're locked in. Spiritually, your heart, your mind, your soul is about this journey.
My
So tell me
commitment.
something. Right, Thando, you've been in this industry for 10 years, over a decade, right? More than 10 years, decades, actually. Let's be clear.
30,
What drew you 30 years? Wow,
30.
congratulations. That's a
I'm,
lifetime.
I'm pushing 60.
So tell me this, how, what brought you into this industry to
What
be
brought
here
me
30
in?
years? Clearly you're meant to be here, but what, what made you go after it and stay committed for 30 years?
Adamola Mandela,
Mm,
my mentor,
okay.
and my other mentor, Mr. Orrin Saunders, um, from Guyana. They were
Mm,
two Black men who were the visionaries behind Locks and Chops, which
wow.
basically meant we did locks and we did chops. And my mentors, the unique distinction is that I was mentored by two Black men
Fantastic.
who did not play no games with me
Right.
and did not settle for nothing less than excellence. Um, and I thank them and I honor them, and they have taught me how to eat. They
Mm,
are the father figures that I never had. And it's funny because I don't think that out of all the people that they trained, that I would be the one who would still be holding the torch in their honor and celebrating them.
wow. I want to thank you so much because one of the things that I realize like as we mentor, because we're going to get into that conversation because that's obviously why we're here, why mentorship is so important, especially in this natural hair industry. Um, I just what I just got out of what you just said, and this is why for me it's such a spiritual connection, is the fact that all the effort and energy that I've put in to support other sisters to be in this industry, that just do the thing and let it go. Some point along the way, there'll be someone else holding the torch for others, you know, because
Brothers.
one of the things that I think we feel to do is to celebrate our heroes and sheroes who came before us. Like Dr. Joanne Cornwell, when she came here in this summer, I was so happy that I was invited to lead that whole entire um, weekend, at the Natural Hair Expo in Baltimore. And number one, the location was just it. I love Malika, who put the show on. She chose a different, like it was a different vibe altogether. And so to have Dr. C show up and speak to the people, like, just share and answer questions. I decided that on that particular day, I was going to honor her. I was going to give her her flowers now instead of waiting for later. Right. And so we just showered her because she definitely opened the path for the interlocking, like the micro interlocking. She created the very first micro locking system, into small micro locking system, interlocking system called Sister Locks, that then has become so many other things since then. But that alone has allowed so many women to eat, so many women and men to eat. But we forget that when we're taking care of our clients. We forget that this was, that download that she received, that she openly shared with the rest of us or taught us and let it, has opened up so many doors and favor to so many, you know,
It
just really.
disappoints me that the things that we think or the things that we prioritize as important, like to be licensed, to honor sanitation,
Right.
but there's things that we should honor, like there's nothing in the world more important for me than to tell someone thank you.
Hmm.
like like nothing. And after thank you, I'm sorry. And so,
Why I'm sorry?
yeah, to
Why
tell,
would you say I'm sorry? Is it because they haven't respected or haven't taken the time to say thank you prior, or why I'm
well,
sorry?
to tell people thank you,
Right.
and then when there's a upset or a disconnect, to remove the ego and to be able to tell people I'm sorry.
Honey, speak out. You talking to me?
Yeah. And it's like Dr. Joanne Cornwell and Talani Kennard and so many have opened doors when there were no doors,
Correct. Correct.
and this generation, we don't feel the need to say thank you. People
Mm.
feel that they are entitled.
And that speaks volumes to African culture where, you know, true African culture, anything opens up with always thanking the ancestors, those who came before us, because it is those shoulders that we stand on today, right? We even forget that. And the ego kicks in and it's all about me, and this money that I'm making, right? And
So,
and even at times the way we treat our clients is an issue. What do speak on that?
so let me say thank you
Oh,
for
oh,
inviting me and thinking that I have something of value to say. It's really special that I get an invitation. Most times, Black men are not included in these conversations or thought of
Mm.
as an invitation. So thank you and Dadalocks Podcast for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
I didn't
so
mean to cut your question, but
No, no, thank you. I am honored. Let me just take this moment to say thank you. Thank you for honoring me. Thank you for honoring me with your presence today. And yes, we feel that you have so much value to bring upon because not many natural hairstylists really include the culture when we're talking about the culture, right? So yeah, so that's how you got into this whole thing with your mentors. What pulled you to the natural hair industry? Because you could have done so much. You could have done so. You're an artist. You could have created many other things with your hands. Why natural hair? Why serve your people?
we're in a state of emergency.
Mm.
We're in a state of emergency, and everybody prospers off of Black hair except Black people. Black hair matters. It is the most strongest hair on the planet. It is the most versatile hair on the planet.
No
It is
doubt.
the most misunderstood hair on the planet.
Woo!
And
That right.
I am just a soldier for natural hair and health. I think that the industry is so smoked out or confused that natural hair and style is the only conversation that matters
Mhm.
until you get hair loss, until you get fibroids, until you get cancer, until you get allergies. And then we focus on the health. But I don't have conversations around natural hair unless health is included. Natural hair, uh, it's about health and it's about healthy products. So I want people to be smarter than their smartphones and to stop purchasing products with pretty packaging and things that smell nice. And please take a look at the ingredients. You
No
should
doubt.
be looking to purchase products not from beauty supplies, but from health food stores.
Mm. Preach, brother. Wow. It's all about health. And and it's funny. Women who I see move away from perming their hair or straightening it and they get into locking, the first thing that starts happening is like their natural hair journey and health start. They want to work out more. They want to they want to eat better. They want to move their bodies, right? In a way that we haven't had that happen before because now hair is not doesn't take up once your hair is locked in or locked up, right? Or locked down, however you want to look at it, right? It allows us, it gives us freedom to explore this planet like in a way like so we can work out, we can learn how to swim, all the things that we avoid doing. We could walk in the rain, all the things we avoid doing because of hair.
But that's one of our job descriptions
Right.
is that us as stylists, us as self-esteem specialists, we have to be cultural coaches. And
Right.
so when we got the client in the chair, that there's always time for a little bit of gossip,
Right.
but you got to feed into your client. You got to pour into them, and they have to have an experience that empowers them.
Mm, mm, mm,
So
absolutely.
yeah, when guests are with me, you got to take the phone down a little bit, and we got to have some communication and conversations.
Mm. You're speaking to
And
me.
and
Speak.
90%
Oh,
of my clientele are Black men
fantastic.
who, who usually don't engage in a lot of conversations or communications. And
And
we
you,
talk about sports, and we
right,
talk about family, and we talk about hair.
right.
And sometimes it's very uncomfortable to get Black men to talk about hair. But I need you to be the most educated person about your hair and what's going on.
So those are the conversations we should be having with our clients while they're in our chairs instead of misinforming them, right? Or misleading or them, that is really our job. That is our responsibilities as hairstylists is to educate and empower our clients so that they're our dream clients, so that they're able to make those impactful decisions on their hair and not coming from a place of fear, but coming from a place of love.
Well, I don't say hairstylist. I'm an African groomer.
Right.
And so to me,
Optician, all the titles, right?
I'm an African groomer. And I'm servicing your African locks. So, yes, I do say locks. I do say dreads. I think that we should embrace all of the adjectives and
Right,
all of the terms.
right.
But I like my clients and I coach them to speak from African perspectives. So they're getting Nubian twists, not two strand twists.
Nice.
Um, and when brothers are in the chair and the styling part of the conversation comes, if there's ever a conversation about, I'm not sure, Kafele, this is a little too feminine for me.
Mhm, mhm.
Style is not gender based. It's not
Mm.
masculine or feminine. The only things that I do is African. So if the style is a little too African for you, then I'll change it up for you and give you a different perspective.
I
But you
love that.
can't speak it as too feminine because feminine is great. We
Yes.
come from Black women, So
Right.
I'm always in a position where I challenge their thinking,
That's
not
what,
to be right or wrong, but to give them perspectives and to look at how they think and how they speak.
right. And how limiting it could be or not be, right? Just giving them, yeah, broader awareness.
I couldn't be the great stylist that I think I am
Right,
if my community limited me and my style ability to gender.
right, right, right. It's so interesting that you mentioned that. When I cut my hair initially, I'd cut the side because I wanted to come to this. I wanted to get to my ancestral. When I think about the tribes that I'm from, the Maasai tribe and the Kikuyu women, all of them wore their hair short. And I've always thought, what would that look like for me? I've worn it short before when I was young, but what would it look like now as a woman, right? And for various reasons, and more is to come through social media in terms of my hair story and my natural hair, my own personal natural hair journey. And so the first time, you're right, we get to these places and we start putting gender applications on people, assuming assumptions, right? And so the first time I cut the side, I was accused by some family members that that was a gay hairstyle. And I was like, what? I was so shocked, right? So I was like, what are you talking about? So I pulled out all kinds of ancestral photos of our people and how they wore their hair and just showing them. Would you consider her gay? Well, she's wearing her traditional wear and all the things. And they would say no, but yet because I did it, I was put in that box. So later on, I was like, oh, they ain't ready. Wait until I cut it all off. What do they have to say then? And so I'm loving it. I'm like, I don't even care, but it allows me. But I'm going to say that this journey is allowing me to see how people respond, how people feel about our natural hair, how people feel about women with short hair. I go into places and brothers are like, hey, sis, you look beautiful, or oh my God, I love that haircut, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so all the stigma that would have just like before you lock your hair, you're thinking you're going to hear all the negative feedback. But once you do, you have people on the street saying, hey, your hair looks great, and so on. So we have the positive and the negative mindsets or feedback. What say you when it comes to the people? What say you about that? Because these are things that we don't really talk about, but exist in our community.
So when women usually go to the barbershop and they have to go low because they want to remove chemical or relaxer from their hair. And there's a moment in the shop that usually sometimes happens when the woman says, I understand I have to go low, but I don't want to look like a boy.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with looking like us.
Right.
And I need you to have the understanding that sometimes, as a possibility, that when you cut your hair short, that you look like your dad and maybe your daddy's girl. And so if you think you look masculine, maybe it's an honor to your grandfather
Mm.
and your father and your uncle and your nephew and your brother. Because when you tell us Black men that we look like our moms, we're proud.
Wow.
But I send that assignment to the barbershops because they usually have very short consultations with their clients. And the barbers have to be more responsible
Mhm.
in speaking to women. The first thing is, can you please put some pictures of female haircuts in the barbershop?
Mm.
Women are scared to go to the barbershop because they don't see any visuals. They see nothing. And so they have to choose between the braider or the loctician when they know they need to see the barber. The barbershop has to put some plants in there to make women feel comfortable. They have to change the music to make women feel comfortable.
Oh my God.
When you gotta cut the yo, what's up, my nigga? What's up, my nigga? You gotta shift the conversations when you see a sister come in. Your conversation during the NBA game or the boxing fight is one thing, and after hours. But when you see a sister or when you see an elder or a child come into the space, be responsible and shift the conversation.
Preach, my brother. Oh my gosh. That clip alone, I want to send it to all the barbers across the world. Oh my God. So here's the thing I wanted to share with you. In Kenya, the top locticians or African groomers are men.
I
Men,
believe
yeah, men are the ones who lead in that industry and they are doing well. Great, and they've always done well. And it's amazing, and then of course I came with this whole interlocking sister locks thing and started showing it off in Kenya, and it's become another thing on its own as well, just because we're so creative as Africans. It could be step sister locks, but it is our locking, it is the micro locking. So tell me this, and of course we see like from sister locks to micro locking, all the challenges that come along and so on. So this brings me to what have been your takeaways in the 30 years that you've been in this industry? What are your takeaways and what challenges would you say you came?
I didn't hear the last part.
So what kind of challenges did you come across? Or what takeaway would you have for us, for the audience listening?
When you say a takeaway,
Take
what do
after
you
30 years, what would you say
Mhm.
you've learned about this industry? And or even what are some of the challenges you had in these 30 years? Because I know there are many. In 30 years, they got to be, it's up and down if we're talking about business.
Just because a company is Black owned
Yes.
doesn't mean it's Black controlled.
Mm, what? Tell us more.
We don't control our industry,
Mm,
you
right.
know. Um, I want Black people to be inspired to not let the culture of natural hair become gentrified.
Mm,
The takeaways, what I have learned, I thank God for choosing me to be me.
mm, yeah.
As uncomfortable and frustrated as I get, there's a lot of highlights, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of balance. Um, this new generation of hairstylists, what an amazing group of talented, phenomenal brothers and sisters who are just taking the craft to the next level.
Absolutely.
But I want them to focus on care, care, taking care of our people.
Oh, yeah. Customer
The
service.
word beyond
Yes.
care,
Yes. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, um, the takeaways. Um,
That's a
I'm
great.
glad, I'm glad to be a bridge
Mm,
between the veterans and the new millennials. I went to a hair show the other day in Secaucus, New Jersey, and the honor that this young generation shows me,
oh, beautiful.
Lord, don't let this emotional Pisces start tearing up on this podcast right now. Um,
Oh, you deserve it.
I'm just grateful, and I hope that I can be a mirror of an example of how to walk and how to talk and how to represent culture and how to treat other people and give other stylists grace
Right.
and to keep my thinking evolved and to keep shifting and changing my mind and my perspectives on things. Um, we still got a lot of work to do. We still
Oh,
have
absolutely.
a lot of Black women who um, I want them to stop purchasing hair from Koreans. You know, when I see sisters with these fake locks and they say, it's just a protective style. Locks are the protective style. Natural hair is the protective style. You can't protect your hair with hair
With synthetics.
with synthetics,
Yeah.
with hair from Koreans,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And
you
and
know.
and what's really sad, there's a whole that could be a whole different podcast. These products, they're not safe. Some of them are making women sick because those chemicals, the dyes, they're not washing them because they're not using it. They're not using it on their women. It's us who are consuming that product. So of course, minimal is best, just like the perm ingredients. Minimal is best.
It's like sulfate-free shampoo.
Yeah,
Nobody has ever been recorded dying from shampoo.
right,
But why risk it?
right, right.
Because those chemicals that go into your body not necessarily may affect you. They can affect your daughter or your granddaughter or your son.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This
Absolutely.
health, natural hair and health is priority.
Mm, I just have to say amen to that. That's like a complete sentence, is priority, the health. And because you can't say you're natural and then you're doing all these other things. Right.
And we're not just talking about body health. We're
Right.
talking about mental health. We're talking about um, the craziness of
Right.
choosing to wear a texture of hair that doesn't match yours and equating that with beauty.
Right. It's interesting you said that. I met this brother who said all Black women all Black women own a wig. And I was like, I've never owned one, nor have I ever worn one, ever in my life, nor have I ever had a desire to.
We're, but we're the ones who created wigs.
Yeah.
And I'm okay if the wig is Shaka Khan. I'm okay if
Yes.
the wig is given Diana Ross. I'm
Right,
okay if it's giving Kinky and um, yourself.
right, right, right. Right. But you have a problem with it's giving Asian
Yeah,
and you're not, or it's giving Caucasian and you're not. It's giving Bone Street and you're not. Okay.
because those other sisters would never choose African hair.
Oh, ain't that the right? Ooh, they admire it from afar, but they're not going to purchase it for themselves like we do.
So, so when I watch the BET Awards, and this is probably only Kafele's perspective,
Right.
it kills me that I have to look and search for somebody who's wearing their real damn hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at the Olympics too. I was like, what is happening here? Like in this day and age, I'm thinking my sisters would just be wearing their own hair and just make those races. But and I'm like I'm all for the choices are there. Make them for yourself. Make yourself happy, live your best life. But when we talk about natural hair, we really talk about that healthy part of our
But
natural.
I have the solution for that.
What is it? What is it? Do tell.
Three things have to happen.
Name one. Name all three. First one.
Michelle Obama,
Ooh.
Oprah,
Ooh. That's two.
Beyonce.
That's three. Three almost you
One
that you
one of
can't even imagine.
one of those three
Mm.
have to go natural.
Wow.
And it will cause a shift, not in New York, not in Maryland, on the
Or
planet.
real talk. Oh my God.
Beyonce goes natural, it will cause a shift on the planet.
I hope she hears this part of this podcast. I hope it gets to her because it would. It would. Because she could shift them through the music, shift them through all of that. What would
And,
happen if
and only those three can do it.
Mm.
There's not a sister that's strong enough to cause that shift.
Do you think these women are strong enough to make that shift?
I think they're strong enough. I don't think it's their desire.
Oh, wow. I'm not going to cry over that one. As a natural hair expert and lover, a keeper of culture, I will not cry over that one. Because it makes it that makes me want to cry. Yeah. Okay. So that was a drop the mic moment for me. Okay, I knew you would bring some things to emotionally throw me all over the place, but we're good. This is part of this Dadalocks podcast. So we could have these conversations that we do not hear other places, so that we can literally hear these conversations that we're even sometimes not even clear that we can have, right? Whew, all right. So tell me, what is your advice to aspiring stylists? Anybody who's thinking about coming into this industry at this particular moment. I mean, I have mine, I'll share mine after, but I want to hear what yours is.
Something to inspire them.
Yes. Aspiring stylists, they're thinking of coming into this industry. What are the top three things they should consider?
Take responsibility for your reality.
Mm, what does that mean? If I heard that, I would want to know more.
We come from a legacy of excellence. We come from a legacy of kings and queens. Um, we are the standard. All women are beautiful, but Black women are the blueprint. Black men are the standard and the blueprint of strength, of handsome, of masculinity. We're the standard and the blueprint of everything. I want them to honor that when it comes to hair. Extensions are great, additives are great, but there's a special skill to be able to create and raise the self-esteem and be creative with the canvas that you're given. I don't use extensions. I create of what the person comes with. That's a special kind of skill.
Real talk.
I want young generation to be doctors and nurses. We have to take care of Black people.
Big time.
The way we speak to them, our consultations have to be done with care and ease and sensitivity.
Sensitivity.
You don't want to lose the sister who's trying to go natural and be such a militant like Kafele. You got to switch the conversation and smooth it out a little bit and give the sister some grace and be available to not just hear, but to listen. The consultation, the stylist, you should be quiet. You should be listening, listening, listening. And as the doctor or the nurse, you provide the prescription for hair care. When it comes to being a braider or a loctician, you don't need a comb and a water bottle and products. You have to have a vision. I want stylists to know what's your vision and what is your plan to take care of your people. I'm tired of natural hairstylists not using natural products on our people. Everybody wants to be in the natural hair conversation, but nobody wants to be natural. I want them to know that you are part of the medical field. You are a psychiatrist and a psychologist. You are taking care of the hair and you're taking care of their mind. You're taking care of their self-esteem. I've graduated from doing hair. I do minds. There's
Mm,
one part of your journey where you do hair, you do hair, you do hair, you do hair. And now I'm at the stage where I do minds. That's my focus. I want stylists to think. I want to challenge their thinking. I want to challenge their cosmetology mindsets. You have to change the mindset for the hair set.
mm,
You didn't learn anything about us in those institutions. I get
not one.
frustrated that we spend thousands of dollars to learn hair, to learn about hair that's not ours. But when you want to take a class with Kirigo, you want to nickel and dime her.
Preach. Yeah, that's real talk. What is up with that? That we can invest in other institutions without a problem, but when it comes to investing in ourselves within our institutions, then we want discounts and why I gotta.
Because support takes courage.
Hmm.
Why are we going to the beauty supply when there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of natural hairstylists who have products online? And products are experimental. There are not one thing that serves everybody. You need to have 5 different things that you like. Products change seasonally. The conditioner you use in the summer may not be the conditioner you use in the winter.
Real talk.
You
Real
know,
talk. Mhm.
we have to get online and support our people. And so the products may not be the greatest and they're home and they may be homemade, but it's the spirit and the intention behind it.
Wow. Just like you said, you're right, because 20 currently the natural hair industry is pulling in about $20 billion. And where is it going? How is it showing up? Where are the buildings that we're building because of this industry?
Let me tell you
How are we
something.
managing our money?
Let me tell you something, sister.
Yes.
We're buying hair and they're buying real estate.
Wow. Priorities.
We're buying hair when
And
we
they're
can
buying,
grow it,
right.
and other people are buying real estate.
Mm, don't make me cry today.
That's what this,
Yeah, speaking about real estate, real talk, I believe in groomers and stylists and natural hair experts really thinking this time behind the chair it's going to be short-lived. What do you do after that? How do you plan for your life after that? So those are the things that I'm all about, planning a good life, making sure that as the money's coming in, we're moving it and positioning it, telling it what to do instead of looking back and being like, did I only buy hair and not real estate? I want to be able to say, I got some real estate out of this. Thank goodness, and my family's better for it. And thank God for my hands.
so when you said the message I wanted to give to the next generation or the young generation,
Yes.
I want you to have a resurrection of your
Mm,
mind. I want you to have a resurrection of your mind. And who are you in this industry?
mm,
There are millions. Well, when I started, there wasn't, but now there's many, many thousands and thousands of locticians.
right.
What is the one thing that's going to separate you from the rest?
Come on now.
What do you define as success? How
Mm,
are you? How are you being a contribution? Are you being a service or a disservice? All that I do when I go to natural hair heaven, I want the ancestors to say, "Well done. You
oh,
gave you gave them hell, Kafele. Well done."
well done, bro. Well done. This podcast has been amazing. You have successfully brought tears to my eyes. Well done, bro. Well done. Well done to all of us. Hugs.
Yeah, because thank you, Kirigo. You're doing the work. You're doing the work.
Thank you. I'm so passionate about this industry, and more importantly, I'm passionate about my people. I'm
Yes.
about the things that take place when we're together. I'm passionate about how I see the power in our community when we work together. I am so passionate about the healing that is taking place that sometimes we're not even aware of it. And I'm passionate to inspire those who are lost in this industry, who are hurting our people when they come in your chair. And I want you to consider, if you're out there and you're hearing me right now, I'm pleading to you. If you're not feeling well, do not serve your clients. Work on yourself first. Get yourself mentally stable. Feel good about you, and then go serve your community, because you can't do it any other way.
Yes. And we deserve it.
Damn right.
I watched um, YouTube and this conversation about using Dawn dish detergent on our hair.
Because it breaks the grease away.
I called I call those people the Illuminati.
Mm.
Notty. They're the Illuminati. Why would you put something so cheap on your hair?
Ooh,
Your hair deserves better. There's a difference between a soap and a shampoo.
real talk.
Soaps can clean anything. Shampoos were made for your hair. And you don't have to use something so cheap, something so damaging to your hair if you just stop using cheap products. If you're a
Mm.
natural hairstylist, you should be using natural products. There's no need for a detox unless you have the flu, unless you work in New York and you're in the transit system, in the subway, in the tunnels, around grease and grime. If you have the flu and you think you have sickness in your hair. But on a daily basis, if you're using natural products on your hair will look better. It will feel better. It will smell better.
Mm.
It will move differently.
Absolutely.
And natural hair doesn't have shine. It's buff. It's like suede. And if you have someone taking care of your hair, and if you have you taking care of your body and your hair doesn't have shine. It has a natural illumination.
Natural luster, y'all. That's exactly it. That's what our hair does. And you could tell healthy natural hair from not very healthy natural hair just by that luster. My gosh, this conversation has been everything to me. You have moved me beyond. You have successfully managed to jerk those tears out of my eyes. You have touched my heart, and I'm hoping you've done the same for all our audience that are out there listening to this. Um, thank you, Mr. Thando Kafele. Thank you, King of Lock. Continue doing the work. And yes, you will get to natural hair heaven for sure. For sure. And to all the listeners out there, thank you so much for spending time with us. If you liked what you heard today, please comment below, subscribe, and share, share with your friends, because this is how we're going to grow this community. Kirigo, your host, Kirigo Kabuga, your host of this Dadalocks podcast, where we're on a mission to get 10,000 women out of poverty through natural hair business. And we thank you so much again, Mr. King of Lock.
Thank
I
you.
love you. I love
Can
you
I
so
can I
much.
share one last thing?
Please do. Absolutely.
This fall, I will have a residency at NYU. I will be, I believe I will be the first natural hairstylist, loctician to teach at New York University. And I will be leading Zoom conversations and panel discussions around the culture of natural hair and locks. Um, Thank you for all the Black women who support me and who fought for me for this to happen. And I hope the world will be watching, and may the Creator guide my speaking and my heart through these conversations.
Oh my gosh, if you just carry on the way you did in this podcast, my friend, this university has a lot to gain. Those students will have a lot of information and a lot of encouragement and accurate information, not this YouTube university confusion. And I thank you. I thank you again so much. And thank you to all our listeners. And we look forward to the next recording or the next issue of Dadalocks Podcast. Thanks again, Kafele, and have an incredible season and a great year teaching at University of New York. Peace and love.
I, I adore you.
Oh, thank you.